I only, after being diagnosed with ADHD last year, I only saw such a huge connection between Parkinson's and ADHD because both are a lack of dopamine. So it was a big awareness and there's a big kind of shift in things for me, because I've had many clients say over the years, like, God, Aaron, you really get me. You really understand how I'm feeling and stuff. And I just thought it was because I'm a very people person. I get to know my clients very well. I thought I was just kind of vibing well with them. But it turns out it's, a lack of dopamine. And I would have experienced a lot of similar symptoms with Parkinson's. So I would have experienced anxiety, depression, very bad memory, really bad at recalling things, everything is last minute, no sense of time, space awareness. A lot of things going on. So when I did this presentation, then I was looking through things of how things were affecting me and what I was doing and what really helped. And if any of you know Dr. Joe Dispenza, I would do a lot of my work would be around Dr. Joe Dispenza's. And he says, Dr. Joe Dispenza, a neuroscientist, American neuroscientist, and he says awareness precedes change. And that is such a huge thing for me. When you're aware of something, it's only when you're aware of something can you change it. And that may seem very, very obvious. But when you actually, a lot of you may, relate to this before you were diagnosed, and you knew there was something up, but you didn't know what it was, or you couldn't put your finger on it. I just thought, I used to be very, very hard on myself. I was so hard on myself. And I think back about it now, I used to think I was so stupid and lazy. And I literally would get in a freeze, not a Parkinson's freeze, but I would just get a freeze where I'd be like, I can't even do anything. And then I would just get more overwhelmed. I get really overwhelmed. And I used to just put it down to trauma. So actually, I'm glad to say this so quick, but sure, it doesn't really matter. I had a lot of trauma when I was younger. When I was 8, when I was walking to school, I was attempted kidnapped. I was dragged into a van. And at 9, my friend's father touched me up wrong. He put his hands down my pants and stuff. And then when I was 27, I was violently raped. So I've gone through a lot of trauma, and I just put kind of everything down to that, things that were happening. I just kind of put it down to that. And it was only then last year. So that was 27 years ago. So I went into a depression and anxiety and drank a lot. I had a drink problem and taken drugs and suicidal. And, I was in a bad space for a while, but thankfully, there for us go the grace of God, came through that. And when I started work, I was literally led to working with people with Parkinson's. And so much of my life then started making sense then, So this phrase, awareness precedes change, really made such a huge impact in my life. So when I recognize her with the ADHD, so I look in, so when I get overwhelmed now, or when I get anxious now, or, if I used to be so hard on myself. If I ever got down or low, I'd be getting angry at myself, going, why are you feeling like this? You've got so much to be grateful for. Why are you feeling like this? And I used to feel, not worthy. And I used to feel really, really nasty to myself. I'd never be as nasty to anybody else as I was to myself. And when I got this, no, it's the awareness, it's the ADHD is making you feel like that. So you have this, you recognize this, right? So what can you do about it? And you pull back and then do these things. So when you produce dopamine, when I get back into my routine, when I get back doing the things I'm supposed to do, life opens up again for me. And it was kind of happening on a like before I actually got the diagnosis, and before my life just wasn't making sense. I was feeling like, what's wrong with me? I'd go through spates up and down of being depressed, and I just couldn't understand it. And I wasn't doing the things that we need to do to produce dopamine. Now, I'm not on any medication. I want to do it naturally. So this is where the idea of this presentation came through. So this is my first time, even though I'm working with people with Parkinson's for 8 years, this is my first time doing this through the eyes of somebody who needs to produce dopamine. So it's quite a personal presentation. So I'd like to say thank you all for coming. I really appreciate your time. I know time is valuable for everybody, and I really hope the next 60 minutes will be really beneficial for you, and that you get some help and benefit out of my presentation. And if you have any questions then at the end, I'd be very happy to stay on and answer them. Okay, so thank you very much, John, for inviting me back. And I'm going to start the presentation. Thank you. Can you see the screen?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, great. Yay. Okay. So here we go.
Yeah.
Okay. So here I am. 10 ways to produce dopamine naturally. So John asked me at the start just to tell you a bit about what I do. So I'll just go quickly through this, and I'll tell you a bit about what I do with my coaching, and then we'll start the program. John asked me to say this at the start of it, so I'll just spend a few minutes with this. So good evening, everybody. My name is Irene Tracy, and I started working with people with Parkinson's nearly 8 years ago. I became a smoothie coach first, and this was purely by accident. I'll never forget the day nearly 8 years ago when, I said already I was drinking too much. I was brought up in the hotel industry, in the bar, and John, would you mind muting people there, please, if it would be okay, please? Thank you. So I grew up, my mother was a nurse, nursed in New York. She nursed in the Bronx for years. And my dad was a guard, and they bought a bar. And so I grew up in the pub business, which not great for somebody who wants to drink. And I was managing a bar and restaurant in Lanzarote. I went to hotel management, a degree in hotel management, and went, down that trade. And this, is years after my trauma. So it's just the wrong trade to be in if you've got drink issues. And I remember one day going down on the beach, and I was going down for a jog, and I just said, God, please lead me to what I'm supposed to do, because I knew I couldn't stay in the bar trade. It was always, have a drink after work, and it was just lethal. So I'll never forget the day I was walking down the beach, and this girl was doing these smoothies, these rings, just doing these on the beach. So I stopped her, and I just said, oh, can I ask you, sorry, what are they? I was curious about them, and it was I used to have really jiggly arms, and I just wanted to ask her about them. And she said that they were tools for people with Parkinson's. So I said, well, I don't have Parkinson's, but my friend does. And we were just across the road. Said, can you come over and show my friend what these are? So to cut a long story short, she really liked them. I ended up going to Austria to train with these, and I came back and I set up classes in Lanzarote, just as general health and wellness, nothing with Parkinson's. And then I was just guided, just loads of different people start with Parkinson's, met loads of different people with Parkinson's. Then different physios, doctors were asking me about them. So I went back to Ireland. This was in Spain. I went back to Ireland then and ended up going over to London, training to become a PT Warrior instructor. And then I went back to London about 6 months later and trained in Parkinson's regeneration training. Then I was just really guided. I can't even explain it. Like, I was guided to so many different people with Parkinson's, and I could see very clearly that the biggest obstacle with my clients, and like, I wasn't even doing Parkinson's coaching at this stage. It was just literally showing them how to use Smoothie. So it's a vibration therapy tool that was invented by a man with Parkinson's. So I was just showing them that. But I could see the resistance very clearly that people had, and it was their belief system, that they didn't believe in improving where they were. They didn't believe in healing. They didn't believe in recovery. And I'm not talking about cure, not for a second, but talking about improving. So I could see then it was a mental block that was restricting them. And I understand now from my training that it's because we're all conditioned. We are literally primed, conditioned not to believe in healing, not to believe in a recovery. And as you know, Parkinson's is defined as a progressive, degenerate neuro condition. So, you know, you're basically told, and I hear this from clients all the time, like doctors, neurologists saying, like, you're basically going to get worse from here on in. So there's never talk about recovery or healing. So I studied then NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, which is the study of the brain and saying to get from where you are, to where you want to go. So the study of all of that. Then I wanted to do more with mobility, and that's, I became a yoga teacher, then a life coach, then a meditation teacher, and I'm studying to become a neuro coach now. I love the brain and the amazement of it, and how literally we can go from, you know, a real low to a high, and how we can balance ourselves out and what we can do. We create our own lives through our brain, and I really, really see this. I also have studied Reiki and somatics. I don't train with these in my clients, just for my own education. So these are my coaches, my mentors in real life and online. So if anyone doesn't know Dr. Gary Sharp, I would absolutely follow him. He's fabulous. Gary, he's not a medical doctor. He's a doctor of engineering and science. And he got Parkinson's when he was 35. And we're the same age now. He's 49. And I sent him a set of smoothies about 7.5 years ago, just to try him out, to see what he thought of him. And he really found the benefit of him. I went over to England. He's from England. Went over to England to see him. And we really just got on really well. And he was saying, so over the next couple of years, he was saying, like, I'm so passionate about it that I should be coaching people and not just smoothie. So it was really Gary that kind of brought me into the coaching part of it. And then Michael Connolly beside him is my NLP master. Dr. Shante Taylor is a neuroscientist in America. She's my neuroscientist doing neurocoaching with. So the three of those I work with personally. And then the rest have been online. So Dr. Andrew Huberman, again, what I would suggest is for people to take a screenshot or a picture of this and these people and follow them. Dr. Andrew Huberman, fabulous neuroscientist from Stanford. Tony Robbins, brilliant human behavioral specialist. Dr. Joan Rosenberg, psychologist. Dr. Joe Dispenza. If you don't know Dr. Joe Dispenza, please follow him. You will learn so much from him. He, when he was 23, was in not a marathon, a duathlon. and he was knocked off his bike and broke his back in 7 different places. And the doctors said that he will never walk again. So to cut a very long story short, the doctors advised him to get the Harrington rod surgery, but he knew, he was a chiropractor, and he knew that he would only have a 50-50 chance of ever walking again. But the doctor said, if you don't get it, you definitely won't ever walk again. So Dr. Joe was like saying, you know, he was learning all about the body brain connection. And he, in his words, you know, he was saying, God, if all I'm learning is true, that there is a connection between the brain and the body, if I'm learning, if I'm understanding this is true, I should be able to heal myself now. And I know that sounds crazy. I really do. But it's true. Google Dr. Joe Dispenza. So after 6, so he went home and his friends took care of him. He had to be rotated and turned around. After 6 weeks, he was up walking around again. After 9 weeks, he was back at work. And after 12 weeks, he's back running. And that's after breaking his back in 7 different places. You may think, oh my God, that's crazy. That's impossible. It's not. It's done it. He's such a famous neuroscientist, and he's known for it. And Google Dr. Joe Dispenza with Parkinson's testimonies. He works with loads of people with Parkinson's and has had extraordinary results. And I have clients who have been to his workshops and have had huge results. My own story with, you know, kind of the unbelievable is my dad got sick a couple of years ago, and cut like a long story short, he was in hospital for 6 months. His bowel had twisted, and he had to have emergency surgery. And on the operating table, his heart, liver, lungs, everything collapsed. So they came out and they said they didn't think he was going to make it. Then he did. And then so he was in hospital for 6 months. And one day the doctor came in and he goes, okay, Mr. Tracy, we're going to release you. And I said, what do you mean release him? I said, he can't even walk. He can't even get out of bed. And the doctor's exact words were, because I'll never forget it, your autonomic nervous system is broke. That can't be fixed. So we're going to release him. And I said to him, because I'd been studying the nervous system 5 years at this stage. So I said to him, what do you mean his nervous system is broke? I said, what about exercise? What about meditation? And he just said, you're grasping at straws. And I was like, so what? And he goes, so nothing. You need to go home and get your house fully disabled friendly. Your dad will never walk again. They were his exact words. And he left the room. And Dad said, oh my God, I'm never going to walk again. And I said to him, only if you believe, Dad, only if you believe it. If you believe you will walk again, you will. And 3 weeks later, he was walking, and he walked. He walked. The doctors in the hospital were calling him the miracle man and all that. And it wasn't. It was his mindset. That's why I studied NLP, because mindset is paramount. We have to believe in our healing. We have to. And I'm not 1 minute, again, I want to really reiterate this. I'm not 1 minute talking about a cure or anything like that. There is no cure yet for Parkinson's, but there's so much more we can do that we're absolutely aware of, that it comes down to mindset. And I've seen that with my own, I've seen it with myself, with my dad, with my clients, and through the work that I've done with Dr. Joe as well. And Dr. Wayne Dyer, fabulous psychologist who mixes science and spirituality, the same as Bruce Lipton, mixing science and spirituality. And that's the work that I love. So just a quick disclaimer, it's important to note that while these tips can help to increase to produce dopamine naturally, it's not a substitute for medical treatment or dopamine-related disorders. Please always consult your doctor before making any changes or amendments. So I'm sure everyone here knows what dopamine is. Dopamine is your neurotransmitter that's produced in your brain and your gut. So maybe some of you don't know that actually up to 40% of your dopamine is produced in your gut. This is why food is so important. And I definitely see there's never enough emphasis put on the importance of food and microbiome and what we put in our tummy, which we will be talking about further on down the slides. So our nervous system uses it to send messages between the nerve cells communicating through your body. What does dopamine do? It improves our motor function, it increases our mobility, reduces depression and anxiety, and overall gives us a better quality of life. Some consequences of not having enough dopamine is Parkinson's, depression, ADHD, addiction, sleep disorders. So I've had all of those except Parkinson's. So 10 ways that we're going to go through this is we're going to talking about breathing, gratitude, exercise, food, music, chanting, set and achieve goals, Mother Nature, meditation, and getting enough sunlight. There is other ways, but for me, these were the best ways. So this is, as I said, this is like a personal presentation. I did like through my eyes for what has helped me and my clients as well, but really the connection for me. So breathing. If I could only teach or recommend one thing for people to do and people to learn, and that would be to breathe properly. I can't tell you the difference it makes when you can actually breathe properly. It's like night and day. I had a doctor, and you can, if you go on to help people with Parkinson's.com, you'll see all the testimonies there. But I had a client with who was a doctor, and she did neuroalignment, one of my courses, with there was 12 other people on it. And she said after 3 weeks, it was an 8-week course. And she said after 3 weeks, she was both embarrassed and ashamed as a medical doctor not to know the importance of breath work and not to realize breath work. So
you're listening, right?
I would have to, honestly, we need an extra hour to talk about why don't doctors know about the importance of breath work? Because they're not taught it in medical school. Why are they not taught it in medical school? Because they don't want us to know how to do it. And this goes back to, control, and it goes back to big pharma, basically. Doctors are never taught anything about breathing. They're not taught about nutrition, and they're not taught about the energetic body. So just as we have a physical body, we have an energetic body. And this is never spoken about in the medical school. So there is actually so much more than we know that's even out there. We're giving the basics of basic big pharma. So there's so much more that we can do. By learning how to breathe properly, you can learn how to regulate your nervous system, learn how to control your nervous system. You can reduce your stress levels. And that has got to be one of the most important things that you do, that you keep on your mind. How can I reduce my stress? What can I do to reduce stress? Because as you all know, you're the experts in Parkinson's. I'm sure you recognize when you get more stressed, your symptoms are worse. And if you haven't had that awareness, that is 100% fact. If you haven't had that awareness, bring that awareness to you. Notice the next time you get stressed, how you're feeling. Go inside and go, how am I feeling? And by breathing properly, you can really help reduce the stress. So breathing helps to reduce stress levels. It activates the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve is the longest nerve in our body. It's a cranial nerve, come from the back of our skull down each side of our neck. So one with information coming down to the tummy and one going from the tummy back up. So down and up. And this is also called the wandering nerve because it wanders into our heart, liver, lungs, spleen. It wanders into all of our main organs. And it's the connection between your brain and your gut. So that's your vagus nerve. And your vagus nerve brings you from either a sympathetic state to a parasympathetic state. So, if you go into a freeze, your body goes from rest and repair to a fight or flight. Your body goes up on nervous, on high alert. So that activates your vagus nerve. So breathing, you can calm it down and bring your body back down to a rest and digest. It helps reduce inflammation in the body. Having inflammation in the body is the cause of so much disease. So breathing properly helps to reduce that, and it improves our sleep quality. We need to sleep properly. We need to get proper sleep to heal, because at nighttime our brain is the busiest. When you go to sleep, so at nighttime, when your brain is like recalibrating and taking in everything that you learned that day, all the important information. But if you're not sleeping, your brain is not calibrating that properly. And also it boosts your cognitive function, which is obviously really, really important. And there's so many different breath works. One that we will do, I'll just do one quick breath work together. It's called the physiological sigh. And this is from Dr. Andrew Huberman, the neuroscientist from Stanford. It's the quickest, easiest, fastest way to reduce stress. And all you have to do is take 2 deep inhales through the nose and a controlled exhale through the mouth. Okay, so we'll do that twice together. So just notice how you feel now, and notice how you feel after you do that. See, it just takes not even 30 seconds. So just notice yourself, how you feel. Okay. And then take 2 deep inhales through the nose. Controlled exhale through the mouth. Okay, and one more time. So if you notice, if you're getting stressed or anxious, or you're getting a bit on high alert, do that breath work, and it helps reduce the stress. It helps dump the nitric oxide from your blood system. So it helps reduce stress from your body. And then there's loads of other different breath works that can help you with that. And also there's breath works to help give you more energy as well, because sometimes just like you become really lethargic, you can do different breath works, breath practice to give you more energy. You can do different breath works to bring more balance to your life. There's so many different ways to do, but that is definitely my top tip to produce dopamine naturally. Learn how to breathe properly. Gratitude. So by this is scientifically proven that when we have an attitude of gratitude, it helps to produce dopamine and we feel better. And when we produce dopamine, we move better, we feel better, our memory is better. And you can see here that gratitude helps to reduce stress. Again, paramount. It can help improve relationships. Gratitude can promote a growth mindset, which is really important. So I myself have noticed this, like through the years. I was talking about, I'd literally freeze and I wouldn't be able to move forward with my work, with even like friends and stuff. Like I can physically move, but I don't want to do anything. And it's just in my head, I'm going, what's wrong with you, Irene? What's wrong? And I didn't understand what was wrong with me before last year, but I understand now. And I know, like I've known all of this for years, but I didn't necessarily apply it to myself. And so when I got this, I really started to apply the principles of gratitude, and it has really changed my life. It really, really has. So with the growth mindset is really important, because when you do feel anxious, nervous, depressed, or you feel, you don't want to mix with other people, or you feel, what's the point? Or if you feel despondent or fed up or any of that, when you feel like that, you don't have a growth mindset. So you're not looking for ways to improve. You're not looking for ways or expecting to improve, because you're just staying still and you're just not moving. So when you bring gratitude to your life, it really expands your mindset. It improves your overall well-being, and it improves your immune function. Our immune system is actually stronger when we're in an attitude of gratitude. And you can do gratitude in many different ways. You can write a gratitude journal. You can keep a diary. A lot of people do online stuff now, but like just a simple diary, or even just writing 3 things every morning what you're grateful for, really does make a difference. And it's really to feel into it. It's not just writing it down. You really have to feel into it. You have to feel the emotions as if you have it already. Now, with all of these points, like I could name maybe 20 different points about the benefits of gratitude. However, for this presentation, I just decided to take 5 points from each section, because not to get overwhelmed, because I recognize myself as well, too much information. My brain goes, I don't want to hear any of it. So I just brought 5 points to just kind of make it more accessible for us. So the third one, exercise. Exercise is as important as medication. So I'm going to say that again. Exercise is as important as medication. So just as you wouldn't not take your medication, by not exercising is having the same effect. So you really, really need to be exercising a half an hour a day. And, if you're not exercising a half an hour a day, you're not focusing on slowing the progression. Everything about my coaching is all about slowing the progression. Sorry?
אתה רוצה להמשיך לסוף ההרצאה, בינתיים אני ואם אני אהיה ביונית כבר?
בסדר.
Am I okay to continue?
Okay.
So John, do you mind to mute everyone, please? Because I think that I see when I'm doing this presentation, I can't see anybody on the screen, so I don't know if anybody wants to stop or ask me a question. Just say Irene, or otherwise I think it's just people talking in the background. So if somebody wants to ask me a question, please say Irene clearly so I can hear, because I can't actually see anyone on the picture now. I'm just looking at the slides, okay? So exercise. So exercise increases dopamine production. It boosts brain function. It can slow the progression of Parkinson's. It promotes neuroplasticity. So neuroplasticity is the brain's way of changing and remolding itself, rewiring itself. So if somebody had a stroke 10, 15 years ago, they were normally given about a 4 to 6 week period before the doctors would say if they are going to get better or not. And if somebody didn't really improve by 6 weeks, the doctors thought the longer you go, the less chance you have. Whereas now we know neuroplasticity, that the brain can rewire itself, and it does that through repetition, doing things over and over and over again, repeating things, but thinking about them while you're doing it. The body-brain connection, when you're thinking about it in an affirmative way, if you're having affirmations and visualization, you bring all of that together. That promotes neuroplasticity. So many of my clients, like I'm sure there's people in this group, for example, that maybe your arm would swing.
Irene, we can't hear you. Irene, we can't hear you. All of a sudden, you've become mute.
Everybody was muted, including you.
Okay, can you hear me now? Can you
Yes.
hear me
Good
now?
now, yeah,
Thank
good.
you.
Cool. Thanks for that. Thank you. Where was it about neuroplasticity? So it is retraining our brain, and it is amazing again what the brain can do. And what I would recommend you to do is write down, Google Joe Dispenza TED Talk, and it's about 10 years old, but he talks about neuroplasticity, and he shows live slides of how neurons connect to the brain and how they separate again, and being positive and being saying affirmations and visualization, that is all comes into it, and we really create our own reality through this. Okay, so this is all scientifically proven, just not known out there so much in the real world, but it's all out there. And exercise reduces stress. Again, always come back to reducing stress. Food. So, like, I don't know what it's like in America, but in Ireland, they never mention food. Like, food has hardly ever been mentioned, the importance of it. And it's so important because, as I said to you, like over 40% of dopamine is produced in the gut. So if you're eating processed food, and if you're eating sweets and sugar and all of that, all it's doing is destroying our insides, destroying our microbiome, and not helping to encourage the production of dopamine. And so we really, really need to eat properly. So certain foods can help increase dopamine levels, as they are made from amino acids, which are the building blocks of protein. Foods that are high in these amino acids can support the production of dopamine. Examples of these foods include lean meats, fish, eggs, beans, and nuts. In addition to providing the building blocks for dopamine production, certain foods also contain other nutrients that support dopamine production and function. For example, B6 is necessary for the synthesis of dopamine, and foods such as bananas, chicken, and potatoes are a good source of this vitamin. On the other hand, some foods can have a negative impact on dopamine levels. For example, highly processed foods that are high in salt, sugar, and fat can lead to a decrease in dopamine production over time. This is because these foods can interfere with the normal functioning of dopamine receptors in the brain, leading to a decrease in dopamine release and a decrease in the pleasure and reward associated with eating. If you remember the very first picture I put in with the mentors there, Gary Sharp, the very first time I went over to see him in England about 6 years ago, I remember his mother bringing in tea and cakes for us. Sure, came in and I dived straight into the cake and started stuffing myself. And I said to Gary, "You're not having any." And he literally looked at me in disgust, and he was there like, "Irene, sugar is like poison for the brain." And I was like, "Yeah, but you have Parkinson's." Like, not for me as well, really. And he goes, "Yeah, for your brain, but especially for people with Parkinson's." So really keep that for all of us, everyone needs to know that it's like literally rotting our brain. So
Irene, when
yes.
you say fat, do you mean all kinds of fat or something like olive oil good for you? Okay.
Yeah, olive oil is okay, or avocados, like saturated fats and non-saturated fats. You have different ones,
Avocado is good.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be a good fat. Yeah. I have here 2 recommendations that after here I'm going to give 2 great recommendations for you to look up. So some specific examples of food that can support dopamine production and function include Oh, sorry. So it's brands that are high in amino acids as tyrosine, which is necessary for the production of dopamine. Fish, eggs, beans, nuts, they're all good. They're all high level source, so they're all good. Overall, the relationship between food and dopamine is complex and multifaceted. While certain foods can support healthy dopamine production and function, others can have a negative impact on dopamine. It's therefore important to make informed choices about your diet and lifestyle to support healthy dopamine production and overall brain health. So what I would do if I was you is contact there's loads of people out there, but these are two that I really connect with. I love how they coach. I love how they teach. I love their work. So I'm sure a lot of you already know Dr. Laura Mitchley. She is a dedicated Parkinson's doctor, a nutritional doctor, and she's got a fabulous school, an MS PD school, I think it's called, an education as medicine. Fantastic. Look her up. If you can get an appointment, fantastic. Or if you can't, with Dr. Laura Mitchell, because I think she's probably got months of a waiting list and quite expensive. Or Gemma Keogh is in Waterford, where I'm from, and she is a fabulous nutritional therapist who's very connected and very experienced in dealing with Parkinson's, and she can do a phone session, and she's only about like 70 euros for a consultation. Whereas I think Dr. Laura Mitchell is a couple of hundred, where Gemma is fabulous. So you can just look up her email, her website there, send her an email, and you can arrange an appointment. And I would suggest, if you are doing that, if you are going to make an appointment, send her a list of all your medication. So, and any supplements that you're taking, so she can check that, because sometimes different foods don't go well with different medications. And as you all know yourselves, everyone is different, So I would absolutely recommend to get that checked out. Music. And this was one for me that really took me out of a bad time in my life. Like, I've had a few different bad times, but one stage I went in quite depressed, and my therapist asked me what music is on my iPod, what am I listening to? I said, I'm not listening to any music. He goes, but like, I know you like music. And I said, yeah, I don't know, I didn't even realize I had stopped listening to music. And that was then a sign of how I was kind of withdrawn from things that I really liked. And I love music, love live bands, love gigs. Then when I started with that, could feel it all coming back again. So whatever is your favorite music, listen to it. So music triggers the brain's reward system. It can improve your mood, improve your cognitive function, reduce stress, and music can enhance the effects of other dopamine producing activities. So for example, you could be exercising and listening to music as well, and it enhances the experience. Or you could be out in Mother Nature and listening to music. Chanting. This, for me, is one of the best things that we can do. With breathing, chanting would nearly be a close second. Well, exercise, and then the chanting is very powerful. So chanting has been scientifically proven to produce dopamine. It helps reduce stress and anxiety. It improves your overall focus and concentration. It increases self-awareness. And this is really, really important for people like us with lack of dopamine. Self-awareness is really, really important. So the chanting does that. And it promotes positive thinking, which again is something that is really, really important. I first did chanting when I did my yoga teacher training course about 4 years ago. And I was so skeptical of it. I really thought chanting is just like for Buddhists and any white people just tried to chant was just not, I didn't think it was like authentic. I didn't think it was, just, this is my ignorance now. So when I started doing the chanting, I was thinking, yeah, what is this? However, I got a huge moving experience during the chanting, during the yoga. And then the following year, I went on to be a meditation teacher, and we did a lot of chanting there. And then last year, so anytime when I'm doing my coaching, when I'm doing one-on-one with private clients, I always ask for guidance before I start with my client. And I had one client that I've never seen this before or since, but I had one client whose tongue wouldn't stop chattering, like wouldn't stop moving. His tongue was moving the whole time. So his doctor said that there's nothing could be done with it, that's the way it is. So I asked God for guidance, brought it in, and I got that chanting would help him. So I spoke to him about chanting. He didn't, like me, didn't believe in it and didn't really think how it would help. But I spoke to him anyway, and I said, one of my favorite phrases in life is nothing ventured, nothing gained. Give everything a try. Give everything a try with an open mind and see what happens. So anyway, through maybe about 3, it was 4 though, on his 4th session, after his tongue chattering like that for about 5 years, after 4 chanting sessions, he stopped. He was able to control his tongue. Amazing, and something that doctors told him was impossible to do. And don't ever listen to doctors. Don't ever believe when people say something's impossible. Don't ever believe it, because nothing is impossible. Who was it said? Was it Muhammad Ali? Oh no, Nelson Mandela said it's only impossible until it isn't. And
Irene, could you give an example of that?
Of chanting? Sure. Yes. So a very simple one with just so yeah, just say your fingers are your mudra, your index finger and your thumb, just hold those together, and you're putting your hands up to the sky, looking for more energy, and then just very simply going So it's just the it's spelt either A-U-M or O-M, and it's just the oneness together. And if you focus on the O at the start, go it is bringing your attention, bringing your awareness to your physical world, to manifesting. But if you focus longer on the M, that focuses on brain health. It focuses on improving and rewiring your brain for neuroplasticity. So and you set an intention at the start of chanting. So whatever you're going to do, you set an intention for that. So since I found this out, it was only actually, so I did the 2 chanting during the yoga and the meditation, and then when I asked for guidance for this client with the tongue, I was doing research, and I found this this guy called Dr. Ahmed Ray, and I'll put in his website into the chat there, and I would advise you to look at all up there, Dr. Ahmed Ray, MITRAY.com. So I did 3 master classes with him online. Amazing Indian doctor from Calcutta. And he told me that when we focus longer on the M part of it, it focuses on our brain. So anytime I chant, I always set the intention to focus on brain health, because my eyes have always given me trouble from a very young age, since I'm about 4. So our eyes are part of the brain. So I always focus and chant on brain health, and especially then since last year as well, finding out with the ADHD. So focusing on brain health. So anytime I chant, it's always with the intention of healing my brain. So when you focus longer on the so when I'm chanting, I would chant like this. So I would keep a much longer focus, longer emphasis on the and you need to get your mouth, your lips, that they tingle, that you can feel the vibration going down. That you can feel the vibration go down. Remember I said I only add 5 points there, 5 points to each point. So chanting activates your vagus nerve, activates the parasympathetic nervous system of your vagus nerve. So remember I said the vagus nerve, you can be in fight or flight or rest and repair. So by chanting, if you're stressed, anxious, nervous, by chanting activates your vagus nerve. So it brings you into a parasympathetic state. Even like this is how effective this is. Even humming does similar. So some people don't like to chant for religious beliefs, but even humming, even going, you can still kind of feel it there, feel in your neck. And even chanting rejuvenates the cells. How amazing is that? It rejuvenates the cells, and it's really, really powerful to improve your immune system. Really powerful to improve your system. Like I touch wood, I've never had COVID. I haven't been sick. I can't even remember the last time I was sick. And I really do put chanting down to be such a big part of that and My Little Friend's Smoothie.
Thank you.
My pleasure. And there's loads of different ones. You can do mantras as well. Like there's so much with it. Like with everything that I'm doing here, I'm literally just touching on it because there's so much to do. Like it really should be a 2-hour presentation, but people don't want to listen to me talking for 2 hours, so I have to cut it down to an hour. Set and achieve goals. This is seriously one of the most important things that we can do. Because if we're not setting goals, if we're just being reactive to the day, just reacting, and I did this for years because I didn't recognize I was always late. I was always, even in school, not getting my homework done, always paddy last, running around in a panic and all of this. But when I realized all this, when I started making just little goals and writing down what I need to do and then ticking it off, and even when you tick stuff off, if you make a to-do list, tick stuff off there, even the process of ticking it off releases dopamine and it activates your reward system. So set and achieve goals. So goal setting, write down what you want to do. It's so important that we write down what we need to do. We visualize it, get it out of our head, down onto a piece of paper. So that activates your reward system. Accomplishing goals releases dopamine. Goal setting promotes focus and motivation, which we all know is really, really important. And achieving small goals can lead to larger ones and creates a sense of purpose and direction. And that's so important, because I hear this and I felt this for years. I've no purpose, I've no direction. And I hear this from my clients all the time. So when you start to set smaller goals, that gives you the awareness that you can do bigger ones, and it grows from there. And you can see the guy there on the right hand side, the guy with the glasses, that's a man called Tony Wilkinson. And he's the chairman of the Cork Parkinson's group here in Ireland. And I did a presentation of Smoothie to his Parkinson's group, about 5 years ago now. And it was just 15-20 minute presentation showing different ways how to use the Smoothie. And then I said, right, we're going to go walking with them, because walking with them helps improve your balance, your posture, gives you more mobility. And Tony said, I can't walk with them. He goes, I walk with a cane. I can't walk with those. So I said to him, do you have, like, is it balance issues, or is it like, you know, a sore ankle or a broken leg? Because if it's an ankle or a broken leg issue, smoothies are not going to help with that, but it will help keep you balanced, because the vibrations, when you swing them, the vibrations activate the reflex zones in the palm of your hand. The vibrations travel up your arm, into your spine, into your brain, and through continuous movement, the vibrations go down through your body. So it connects into your peripheral nervous system. So our brain, our central nervous system is our brain and our spine. That sends out signals to our peripheral nervous system, our arms and our legs. So with Tony, the signals weren't coming fast enough from his brain down to his feet. So Tony started using the smoothies, and he was so enamored with them, he loved them, that he ended up coming to become trained to be a smoothie coach. So he actually gives classes to people with Parkinson's in Cork now. And just last year, bearing in mind, this is a guy who walked with a cane. Last year, he completed the Cork half marathon in under 3 hours. And that was due to the smoothie, but that was due to setting goals and sticking to those goals and becoming, you know, systematic with his training. And it was such a huge goal for him to achieve. Mother Nature, something that I think we take for granted, or we not even take for granted. I don't think we realize the power that Mother Nature has. Getting out in the fresh air is so important. You're more than likely to move than if you're going jogging, hiking, or walking. Exposing to natural beauty, such as like the mountains and the forests. It's so beautiful. Like when we see these, when we take the time to be mindful of it and looking at it around us, not I'm only looking at walls now, but if it was like, you know, looking at the mountains, I just live by the sea. I'm only 3 minutes from the sea. So when I was swimming today, when I was in the water, I'm just like soaking it all up. I'm just like in awe of Mother Nature, and that will just make you feel so good. Really being mindful of it. And it always enhances our social connection. So Mother Nature, getting out and really appreciating Mother Nature. Meditation, absolutely love the meditation, and it's so easy to do. And I had a perception before I started doing the yoga teacher training, and I only did yoga teacher training to work with my clients with Parkinson's. I had no real interest in yoga before this. I was only doing this so I could work with people and touch them, because you can't get insured to touch somebody unless you need to. So with smoothies, I didn't, while I was insured, trained to do them, I didn't need to touch anybody with it. Whereas with yoga, because you'd be helping people with their posture and balance, I did the yoga teacher training, and that's where I went to meditation. And I used to think, oh, meditation. Honestly, I used to be so skeptical of so much. This journey has really brought me to myself. But the meditation, and I have heard so many of my clients, especially people if they have a lot of dyskinesia, or if they have just, you know, dystonia, and they just feel they can't sit still. It's not about sitting still. It's about like relaxing your mind. It doesn't matter if you have dyskinesia or dystonia, you can meditate as well as anybody else. And often you'll find, even with dyskinesia, dystonia, when you meditate, you can really just calm yourself down from the center. And really, I've seen amazing things happen through meditation. So meditation reduces stress and anxiety, enhances mood, boosts attention and focus, increases brain plasticity, that's neuroplasticity, and improves the quality of sleep. And the final one is getting enough sunlight. And, you know, I guess it depends on where you are in the world and how lucky you are with this. Like, I'm obviously from Ireland, And I have moved to Spain just because I can't deal with the weather in Ireland. It's depressing. Not at the moment. We're actually in a heat wave at the moment. So I'm actually home in Ireland at the moment. My sister's getting married Saturday. So I'm in Ireland, and thankfully we have a strange heat wave. But normally the weather in Ireland just like it really affects me. So when you get out vitamin D, increases our serotonin levels, it reduces inflammation, it enhances our moods, it stimulates the release of endorphins, which are natural painkillers, and it increases activity in the prefrontal cortex, which is like the CEO of our brain, where all of our thinking memory comes from. So overall, sunlight exposure can help to increase dopamine production in the body and brain by regulating your circadian rhythm, reducing inflammation, enhancing mood, and promoting the production of vitamin D and serotonin. And the best time to get out in the sunlight is an hour before or after sunrise, and an hour before or after sunset. So getting out at those two times are the optimal time, and that will help set your circadian rhythm. And your circadian rhythm is your sleep cycle. So it's, as I spoke earlier on, it's so important that you have a sleep cycle, and it's really the best time for our brain. And, you know, regardless of where you are in the world, it'll be in your time. The best time to go to bed is at 10 o'clock at night, to be asleep for around 10:30, because it's around 10:30 to 2:30 is your deepest sleep, your REM, where your brain collaborates and rejuvenates and does all the repairing part. So that is most important. And I have so many clients who say, and language is really important. This is where the NLP comes into it. Language is so important, how we think and how we talk and about ourselves and to ourselves. So many of my clients have said, oh, I can't sleep. Oh, I stay up during the night, or I get up during the night and have a cup of tea and a sandwich, or a cup of tea and a slice of cake or something like that. That is so bad. We need to sleep, and everybody can sleep. It's getting back into the pattern. Okay, I know some people have insomnia, chronic insomnia, but I have had so many clients who say to me, I have insomnia. And when you say, I have, you're given that to you, instead of saying, I'm just not sleeping well. So if you can change your thinking around it and then work on getting into a proper sleeping pattern. So going to bed at 10 o'clock, 10:30, even if you're not tired, to get into that practice. Don't go for naps during the day so that you will sleep at night. Ensure your room is a nice cool room, have blackout curtains, have a nice clean, easy path from your bed to your bathroom in case you do need to get up during the night, that you don't have to move things around, that you can literally just get up and nearly sleepwalk your way to the bathroom. So yeah, just come back to sleep, really super important. And there's other ways to produce dopamine technology. You can get stimulated dopamine with technology. However, you have to be very, very careful as well that you don't overstimulate with it. It's a very thin line. So you can you can go on to, say, your Facebook or Gmail or YouTube or whatever, and you're liking this and you're hitting things. But then very quickly, if you find yourself aimlessly scrolling, that means you're after just losing all your dopamine. You're just scrolling. You're not getting that hit of the satisfaction. So it's really important not to be on your phone a lot. And definitely don't be on your phone after 8 o'clock in the evening, because your brain needs to get the rays and the rays that activate your circadian rhythm. You want to release those. Laughing is really important. It's really important to have fun. It's really important, not to take life so seriously. And I know it's Parkinson's is obviously a very serious situation. I absolutely know that. I'm not taken away from it, but you have to find the joy in life as well. Having a massage is good for releasing dopamine. Cold showers. This is one that I used to hate. Oh, I used to hate it, Andrew Huberman's, but you just get used to it. And I just think, right, do my affirmations, visualizations, so getting in the shower, knowing that this is going to produce dopamine. And, you know, starting off, you can start off with, you know, your regular heat. And just as you finish, then just go a little bit colder. And, you know, the next day, go a bit longer. And all of a sudden, then you're able to have cold showers. Green tea helps produce dopamine, and learning a new hobby or a language produces dopamine as well. So I would just like to tell you then about some of the courses I'm doing. So I do private one-to-one, but I'm fully booked at the moment. But I have a new course starting on the 12th of June, and it's a 21-day challenge to regulate your nervous system. So a lot of the stuff that we've been talking on this a lot of stuff that we've spoken on this will come up during this. So basically this 21-day challenge is a challenge with smoothie. So these are the tools that I was telling you about. So these were invented by Sal Sands, an Austrian tennis player who's got Parkinson's. And it was only through his own improvement that they're made into the product we have today. So this 21-day challenge, it's only a half an hour every day. We start off with breathing, 3 minutes breathing. So the first week is 3 minutes breathing, then the top tip of the day. So there will be a tip on, you know, some of the tips that we spoke about here and other ways to regulate your nervous system, you know, so you can do tapping, you can do aromatherapy, you can do like other different ways. So we go through that. So I give a top tip that takes 5 minutes, and then we do 22 minutes smoothie. And the following week then, so the first week is the 3 minutes breathing, top tip, smoothie. Second week is chanting, top tip, and smoothie. And third week then I take a poll to see who wants to do more smoothie or who wants to do more breathing or chanting for the final week. So we do that, and that is starting on the 12th of June, and that's only €99 for the 21 days. There's a bonus there of lifetime access. So I do at least 5 of these challenges a year, and you just come, you pay in for one and you're in for the rest then. And then also it's a 5-week move to improve course. So I have that course starting on the 12th of June. Now you do need a smoothie for this. And I have then a special gift for everyone that's attending on this presentation, that if you do buy a smoothie, you will get the bonus of the 21-day challenge and the move to improve course for free. So basically you're just buying the smoothie and you're getting the courses for free. Okay, so that's starting on the 12th of June. Actually, this is the outline of the course. So this is like a worksheet you get that I send you, and then you print this off. So every day you go through these. So, you know, the 5 minutes will be your top tip, talking about smoothie. Second day, breathing. Third day, water. Fourth day, embrace, the whole way down. And you go through that. And then every Sunday, we have a review and reflect at 7 o'clock. So it's at the course at 7:30 Irish time, which will be 2:30 your time. So obviously you're not going to ask you to do it in the middle of the night. So you just make a time to do it. You know, if you can do it at your 7:30. And then every Sunday we have a review and reflect, and that is so beautiful. Some people say that that's their favorite part of the week, because we do a live Zoom and people talk on that, and they talk about, you know, the week that they had and what helped them the most. And really, people get great insights from it. Really, really good. And it's a lovely way to connect and mix with new people, and some fabulous friendships have been formed in it. It's really great. So then my next masterclass. So I do a masterclass It's normally the first Tuesday of every month, but my sister, as I say, is getting married on Saturday. So I didn't have time to do it last Tuesday. So I'm doing it next Tuesday, the 13th of June. And it is tips that people kind of wish they had on the day of diagnosis. So I've got loads of tips from different people with Parkinson's that wish they knew on day of diagnosis. So that'll be really interesting. And if you're interested on that, you can log into it, and it's helpingpeoplewithparkinsons.com. So this is as a thank you for attending. I would like to invite you to the 21-day course and the 5-week Move to Improve. And the guy that is using this movie there, he's a guy called Peter Levine. And he's one of the world's most recognized doctors with the nervous system. If you Google Peter Levine and smoothie, you'll see some videos of him, and you'll see him talking about smoothie and how the vibrations help regulate the nervous system. So they're really great for anxiety, stress, depression. I actually only started telling people this only a couple of months ago. So, you know, I told you I came across smoothie living in Lanzarote in Spain nearly 8 years ago. So it was literally freak by accident, the law of attraction, that's what it was. But when I started using them, I was using them, I'd say, about 8 months before I went back to Ireland for the summer. And one of my clients that bought them in Lanzarote was from Ireland, from Cork. So I went down to see him to see how he was getting on with them. And he said to me, he goes, Irene, I don't even think you realize the importance or the power of these vibrations that's in these. And I said, no, I do. I said, I feel it myself. I feel different. I feel stronger. I feel calmer. No, I do. And he goes, no, Irene, he said, my brother died by suicide a couple of weeks ago. And he goes, what you don't know is I'm a recovering alcoholic. My brother died by suicide 3 weeks ago. If little things have set me off back drinking. And he goes, and with these, I haven't, even with my brother. And it just a huge thing dawned on me there that was when I gave up drink. And I had been trying to give up drink for years and years. And through when I went home, I said, right, if I'm going to take smoothie serious, if I'm going to build a business with this, I'm going to have to give up drink. So it was only my intention to give it up for a month. And I could give it up for a month. And I was like, wow, that was kind of easy. Not expecting it. Because as I say, I tried so many times before. So then did 3 months. And then I was like, wow, this was really like an eye-opener for me. So I said, right, if I can give up drink for a year, I can do anything. So that was my goal. That's why I started setting goals and achieving goals. So I gave up drink for the year, and I was like, wow, okay, I need to do 2 years. So I gave up drink then for 3 years, and then COVID came. So I started drinking again, but I do have it under control now. But I'm very, very fussy when I drink. I drink kind of on special occasions, and I'm very, I'll have maybe a glass of wine, a pint of water. And I'm very careful with what I drink now, but it did have me under its grips for a while. I was very close, but I'm very careful with how I drink now.
Irene, what
Yes?
is smoothie?
Pardon?
What is smoothie?
This is smoothie. This is the tool this is Salt Sands. This is the man who invented them. He has Parkinson's. So they're vibration therapy tools. So there's 4 balls in there, and it's two rings like that. And when you swing them, a vibration activates the reflex zones in the palm of your hand, and the vibrations travel up your arm, into your spine, into your brain, and through continuous movements, the vibration goes down through your body. So you do a different exercise with it. So you increase your mobility, flexibility, but it also, the vibrations increases the circulation, reduces the inflammation, which you would have heard me talking about through the presentation. So they're very effective for an overall general health and wellness. And I've been working with these nearly 8 years, and the improvements I've seen in people are remarkable, you know. So they cost 130 euros, and postage to America is 42.50. So 130, 4, 5, 6, 175, be about 175, 180 euros. And I think euros and dollars are more or less the same now. And if anybody does invest in a set of smoothies, I'm giving the 21-day challenge free and the bonus for the 5-week Move to Improve.
Irene,
Yes?
in case this is important to you, there's research to back up the vibration in the hands coming out of Stanford University in California for Parkinson's, and a scientific team is developing a glove that has specific vibrations in them, and it's being shown to improve Parkinson's symptoms. There's a lot of information on YouTube and all of that about it.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks very much for sharing that. Yeah. And about 6 years ago, I said that to Gary Sharp. What would be great is to get a glove, because I can feel vibrations myself. And I know that, you know, everyone feels vibrations, not just I feel them, but everyone feels them. But I know the effect it had on me, and not even knowing. Obviously, I had ADHD back then as well, but I didn't know I had. But I just knew the feeling of how it calmed me down, you know. And I said to Gary, who is Doctor of Science and Engineering, I'd love to create a glove. I'm sure a glove would be great. And I saw that recently, how they're coming out with a glove. Yeah. So, yeah. Like, I mean, when I started with these, like, I just came across these, as I say, by accident. And when I see now how my life has progressed, the path, the journey that I've been on, and the people that I've met, it's just like incredible, and how it has improved. And, you know, this is a bizarre one for you. So my mother passed 9 years ago with a stroke. So she died, she got a stroke on Mother's Day and died the following day. And when my dad was in hospital then a couple of years ago, he was in hospital for 6 months and then in a nursing home for 6 months. And I took him out when COVID happened. I took him out of the nursing home, and I was cleaning out his room because there was no one in there for a year. So I was cleaning out his room, and I found a book in his room, Living with Parkinson's Disease. And I'm like, why would Dad have this book? So I showed it to my sister. I said, why would Dad have a book, Living with Parkinson's Disease? And she said, oh yeah, Mum thought she had Parkinson's before she died. And I was like, oh, it just really hit me, because my mother had been a nurse, as I said to you. She was nursing in the Bronx years ago. But when I look back at it now, she had no sense of smell for about 10 years. Her handwriting was really small. She had anxiety, she had depression, she had a little shuffle. She was small and she had a little shuffle, and her shoulders were gone all hunch. Nobody ever even could, you know, I didn't see it. She obviously did, because she was a nurse. She had the awareness of that. But yeah, no, I never knew it. And like that, but how I should end up working with people with Parkinson's then, you know, they say everything that is for you won't pass you. So here, I'm almost finished here now, kind of gone over, sorry about that. So these are all testimonies. You can go onto the website and see that people have said the smoothie has improved their balance, coordination, strength, energy, posture, mobility and flexibility, eliminate or reduce constipation, and reduce rigidity and stiffness, and reduce anxiety. And there's a 30-day money back guarantee. Smoothie don't give that. I give that guarantee. And I always say to people that use them for at least 15-20 minutes every day, at least 15-20 minutes every day. And if you can't commit to 20 minutes a day, every day, don't buy them, because you need to do them every day. But if you start doing them every day, you will notice a difference. You will notice an improvement. And once you notice an improvement, then you're going to want to keep them. So I offer the guarantee, because I don't want people to have them if they're not going to be using them or going to be of benefits to them. These doctors are 4 American doctors and 1 British doctor, world-renowned. Actually, no, there's 1 German doctor there, 3 American doctors, 1 German and 1 British doctor there, all world-renowned doctors, all recommend smoothie and all have said how smoothie is great for the nervous system. This is Tony that I was showing to you earlier. I spoke to you about him earlier. And that's it. That is it. I'm just going to stop that now. So that's my presentation. I'm sorry, I didn't realize the time. Sometimes I start talking and I don't stop. Oh, thank you, Nadal. Oh, thank you, guys.
Irene, can you put the last
Slide.
slide
Um.
that has your information?
Oh yeah, my website is just helping people with Parkinson's. Yeah, helping people with Parkinson's.com.
Okay.
Do you find any of the smoothie helps also with eye issues that people have with Parkinson's?
With eye issues.
You know, focusing, double vision, focusing, difficulty focusing.
No, to be honest with you, no. I would believe and focus more in the chanting for the eyes, because my eyes, since I'm 4 years of age, and I've had 3 eye surgeries in my right eye and 2 on my left. So eyes have been a big thing for me all my life. But I think the chanting now, it's certainly not going to do it any harm, but I wouldn't you know, put smoothie for the eyes.
You think the chanting just calms the nerves down or the muscles? And
yeah, it activates the vagus nerve and it brings your body out of a fight or flight to a rest and repair. So when our body is in fight or flight, so when you're on high alert, or if you get a shock, even if you go like that, your body goes into high alert, your adrenaline comes out, and when your body is like that, it can't heal. Just like you can't be up and down at the same time, you can't be right and left at the same time, you can't be on high alert and healing. So the chanting, like the breathing, helps us heal, and the breathing for the eyes as well, because most people breathe through the chest, through your mouth. Sorry, it's just chest breathing. If you're breathing through your mouth, you're just breathing enough to live. Whereas if you're breathing through your nose, you should always breathe in and out through your nose. If you're breathing to your nose is being used as a filter. You're getting more oxygen up to your brain. You're getting more oxygen down to your lungs. You're getting more oxygen around your body, around your blood. So that is going to be better for your eyes. So rather than just breathing through your mouth, through your chest.
I just want to say thank you. I have to leave.
Oh, thank you very much.
Very informative.
Oh, I hope you enjoyed it.
I did. Thanks so much.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you.
you.
Thank you. Has anybody else any questions?
This is great. Thank you very much.
Irene, you
My
were
pleasure, John.
ChatGPT. Does it have any? Is it used in 3D recognition or something?
ChatGPT.
Huh?
I've just started using it myself. Like I'm on it. I'm so bad at technology. So I've just started using it myself. I'm kind of blown over it myself, but I always feel Americans are so much more advanced than the Irish. So I was expecting you to tell me this.
I have a question, being that I just saw the email and I just got on. Is it recorded and available to look at another time?
It is.
Yeah, John has got that, Marguerite.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks. Sorry, I missed it. I can't believe I came in right as, any questions?
How do we get that from you, John?
Send it out to everybody.
I'm sorry, would you say that again, please?
To your email.
Okay,
He's going to email us.
thank you.
Thank you, Nadal. Okay, sorry I went over. I didn't realize it was the time. So thank you very much, everybody, for your
Thank you.
attention.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you very
Very
much.
interesting. Thanks so much.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. And thanks, John, again for contacting me. Appreciate
Thank
that.
you very much.
Right.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Take care, everybody. God bless.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.